Gamers and gamerettes, LT here, and before we get into today's story, I wanted to check something with you guys. Some awesome dude compared me to a version of Scooby-Doo that moved from Austria to Slovakia 10 years ago. I mean guys, do I really sound like... Oh my goodness, I really do sound like him. Good one, Inun Sagis. Anyways, let's get back to the video, and thanks for the freaking laugh. Every once in a while, a certain piece of gaming news comes out and shocks the freaking industry. Today, that story involves a tiny indie studio, a massive greedy bastard corporation, and a decision that most developers would be absolutely terrified to make. An indie team called Speculative Agency is currently developing a deck-building RPG titled All Will Rise. It's a strategy-focused card battler with a narrative that criticizes, guys, and listen to this, powerful elites and corporate influence. So the game is very open about challenging big, greedy, and powerful bastards. But today, guys, we're not here to talk about the game as much as I want to. The real story is what the studio just did to freaking Microflop. You know what? Let me start from the very top. Speculative Agency, they had already accepted funding from Microflop through one of the company's developer acceleration programs. These programs are designed to, help indie developers finish their games by providing financial support and development resources. In many cases, they open the door for a release on Xbox, which can massively expand a small game's audience. For indie developers, opportunities like this are freaking massive. Well guys, we're talking about funding that can keep a project very much alive, resources that help development move faster, and the possibility of launching your game on a platform with millions and millions of players. Most studios would treat that kind of support like it's their last continue after screwing up 9 times trying to jump a platform my 3-year-old niece can do. But a screw up to these studios is a thought for Speculative Agency. They became aware of a campaign called No Games for Genocide. This is a boycott movement within parts of the gaming industry that calls on developers and studios to cut ties with companies accused of supporting the Israeli military through technology services like cloud infrastructure and AI systems. Microflop has been heavily criticized in this because of its cloud and AI contracts connected to military technology, including, guys, services tied to Israel's defense systems. So what did Israel do? Well, you already know, but in all cases, human rights groups and a United Nations inquiry have accused Israel of committing genocide during the Gaza conflict, which is why the boycott movement is very heavy and impactful. Now, whether someone agrees with that political framing or not, the campaign has ignited some serious discussions among developers about the role large tech companies play in global conflicts. And once the brave Speculative Agency learned about the movement, the studio suddenly found itself in a very what the heck am I going to do situation. Because they are developing a game about challenging powerful systems while being financially supported by one of the largest tech bastard corporations on earth. So the poor developers started asking themselves a very uncomfortable question. If our game is about standing up to powerful corporations, can we still take money from one? And after discussing the situation between themselves, the studio made a decision, guys, that most indie developers would absolutely not even 1% consider. And they announced they would join the No Games for Genocide boycott, and they plan to return the funding they received from Microgreed, break their agreement, and guys, give up the opportunity to release the game on Xbox. Now, let me remind you of something. I'm not talking about two tuna fish collaborating together to open an Atlantean club. This is a whale throwing some planktons at freaking sardines. Because funding programs like the one Microflop offered is a golden ticket out of the small leagues and into the medium ones. For many indie studios, this Willy Wonka golden ticket is the difference between finishing a game and begging on the streets for change.
Okay, that might have been an exaggeration. Shut up.
But despite the risk, Speculative Agency decided to walk away from the deal. And just like that, a small indie studio publicly told one of the biggest bastard corporations on the planet to shove their money somewhere the light doesn't dare to freaking reach.
Which is not exactly the headline micro jerks were hoping to read while sipping on their morning black coffee.
A few of you might be thinking, wow, that indie studio overreacted. Trust me when I tell you, they didn't. Guys, let me tell you a bit about Micro Bastard's recent, calling them controversies would be complimenting them. Let's call it out for what it is. bastardation. Because these headlines surrounding this company didn't appear out of a magician's hat. Oh no no no. Microflop has been collecting bad headlines for years and they freaking adored it, I think. I mean, let's start with their shopping frenzy. Over the past few years, Microflop went on one of the biggest buying rampages in gaming history. I mean, guys, they bought Bethesda, they bought Activision Blizzard, and these mother freakers at one point, they dared any studio to scratch their freaking nose. If they did, a Microflop representative would have appeared out of the sewers like a rat with a contract titled Selling? And when all of these acquisitions were announced, the marketing, it sounded amazing. Xbox is investing in developers. Xbox is supporting studios. Xbox is building the future of gaming. Yeah, sure. Except the future came with a layoff middle finger the size of freaking Texas. Because after spending billions and billions buying studios, Microflop started cutting jobs across its gaming division. Thousands of employees, developers, artists, designers, those amazing people who make our beautiful and gorgeous games. They were kicked out without even a thank you for your valuable services freaking note. I mean, guys, a developer is peacefully sitting behind a desk working on a new game or an update to an existing one, and Microflop springs out of the cup holder like a jack-in-the-box with a big fat greasy suck it. Pack your things and get the freak out. And guys, that's how some of the decisions looked from the outside. Oh, but they weren't done. Firing human beings after acquiring studios is one thing. Shutting down entire studios?
Hold my tequila. I need my water.
Where should I start? Oh, Tango Gameworks. Oh, maybe Arcane Austin. Maybe Alpha Dog Games. Maybe Roundhouse Studios. No one was safe from micro idiots. If a studio had the words games, studios, or anything resembling gaming, it got blown the freak out of this world. You'd see, a studio release something decent, something amazing. Fans would love playing it and they would celebrate. And then 2 weeks later, micro jerks would pull a Ubiflop and a restructuring happens. These mother freakers are playing Russian roulette with these studios, except the guns rigged to always fire at the poor studios. I think that if a studio saw a micro jerk suit walking toward them with a smile, the safest reaction would probably to just submit their resignation and say hasta la vista, you mother freakers. And when you start stacking layoffs, studio closures, and corporate restructuring all within a short time frame, people will start asking questions. Why buy all these studios if you're just going to dismantle them later? But we're not done yet there, guys, because while all of this is happening, Microflop was also going all in on AI and cloud infrastructure like it's the next big bang. They started talking to the world like maniacs predicting doomsday. AI will change everything. AI will transform productivity. AI will revolutionize the freaking future. I mean, guys, do you remember Clippy? The little paper clip that used to pop up and ask if you needed help writing a letter? Picture that annoying little bastard now running half the company's meetings, suggesting AI for literally everything, including how to take a decent crap when it's stuck. Now, most of that stuff is just, tech marketing. But the real controversy comes from Microsoft's massive cloud platform, Azure, one of those. Now, Azure, it powers infrastructure for companies, governments, and organizations all over the world. That includes contracts connected to defense systems, like we mentioned before. And now you've got a situation where a company already dealing with layoffs, studio closures, and industry criticism is now, guys, they're being dragged into international political debates.
I don't think micro idiots were looking for this kind of marketing power, huh? Micro idiots.
So guys, when this tiny studio decided to give Microflop their money back, it wasn't for nothing. It didn't happen out of thin air. It happened in the middle of a growing storm of criticism surrounding the company. Which brings us to the other side of the story. The part where this freaking indie studio deserves some serious freaking salute and respect. Let me get this off my chest, guys. That felt so freaking good. My goodness. I mean, thank you so much, Microflop, for being the exact idiots I needed to vent out on. Now, after roasting Microflop like a barbecue chicken left in the sun for 3 days, we need to talk about the other side of the story. Because what Speculative Agency did is something you almost never see in this industry. And guys, I am not exaggerating when I say that. Indie game development is not a cozy little hobby where 3 or 4 friends sit in a garage, drink Pepsi, and release a good game 2 months later. It's really not easy at all. Especially after my Discord chat with the developer of the game Go and my friend Yannick. We're talking about tiny teams stretching every dollar like it's the final countdown. Programmers, they're doing coding during the day, they're fixing bugs at night, and probably answering community messages at almost all day while holding their crying babies and thinking about jumping from a roof like it's a call for mercy. Funding for indie studios isn't just helpful, it's necessary for survival. Without it, the games they get delayed, the developers feel really burned out, and projects they just disappear into the vast ocean of cool games that almost existed. But Speculative Agency did not care for 1 single second. They dropped their dream, they dropped their passion to defend the humans being slaughtered in Gaza. They looked at the whole situation, looked at the message behind their own game, and realized something that most big bastard companies forget the moment money enters the room. There are people who still value freaking principles. They are practicing what they were preaching. All will rise goes against political and billionaire power, and Speculative Agency did the exact same thing, and they simply just walked away. Now thankfully, oh my goodness, thank God, Microflop's funding, it wasn't the end of the world for them. Kickstarter was a great way for them to gain all the funding they needed and more. Their initial target was $11,500 give or take, but as of recording this video, they have amassed over $38,000, which is triple what they were planning for, and I am really happy for Speculative Agency. I mean, you mother freakers, after this stance you took against stupid Microflop, you truly deserve all the support you can freaking get. And now, to micro bastards. When a small indie studio would rather gamble their entire project than take your stupid blood money, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and ask yourselves what the hell you're freaking doing. So gamers and gamerettes, I have a question for you. If you were in their same situation, would you have returned the money or taken the deal and developed the game anyway? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And I promise no judgments from my side whatsoever. I mean, I roast big corporations, I roast governments, I roast politicians, but I do not under any circumstance, well most of the time anyways, roast the gamers and gamerettes out there. And guys, thank you once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content in the future. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.